Happy 20th anniversary to the Pokemon series. The series franchise that we all know, love, adore, and for the most of us obsess over for the past 20 years. Oh man, I was a happy son of a bitch when I saw the Direct today. For those of you who have been living under a rock recently, there's a Direct today for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon that was amazing, to say the least. For longtime fans of the series, spanning the entire 20 years, we saw everything from Pokemon Red and Green, and Blue and Yellow version as well, from 1996, February 6th, 1996, all the way through today, which is Gen 1 series, the Gen 2 series, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6, all of them. We saw the progression of Pokemon for the past 20 years. And when you think about it, they came a long way. They started from pixelated creatures on a monochrome screen to 3D wireless everything. Just putting that all together makes your head rattle in a good way. Because when X and Y came out, we had never seen 3D Pokemon before. It was all pixelated and 2D. Then when X and Y came out, everyone's head just fucking imploded in on itself and then just burst all over the room. Skull fragments scattered on all the walls. It took hours to clean it all up. It was a fucking mess. But we had never seen anything like that, and we were excited as all hell because 3D. And now we're getting things like Pokemon Go, where you can actually go out into the world with your phone and look around and catch Pokemon the closest you can to eventually virtual reality, when we're just going to be strapped into chairs with helmets on our head, all Sword Art Online style, and we're just going to be running around a virtual world catching all these realistic Pokemon. Oh man, I'm going to waste so much time in one of those. Please hurry up and make one. But I'm getting off topic. What we got there was what everyone had been theorizing. The confirmation of the next Pokemon games, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. Oh man, I was wanting them to happen so bad. Because once I saw those logos, my mind went racing. I wanted to make a video about it right away, but I went, wait. The Direct comes out tomorrow. We will get more information, hopefully, and I'll make a better one. I'll make a better one then. And for fuck's sake, we got it. Oh, man. Zen. Calm. Okay. Pretty much. We got the confirmation from Nintendo themselves that yes, it is going to be Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. We're getting Lunatone and Solrock Megas. Everyone's already calling it now because it would make sense. But at the same time, I have my own thoughts on it. I wouldn't mind Megas for them because, you know, why not? But I want to look a little bit further than that. I want to look just a bit further than a couple new Megas. Because pretty much this is what I'm looking for. From the Direct, we didn't see much. Because like I said, they just showed a timeline of all of the games, main series games in the series. And then it was building up to this quick flash sequence of the new versions. So basically, it's pissing me off. Basically, all we saw was practically 3 screenshots worth of information at the moment. There was the bird that wasn't even completed yet. We only saw its general outline, kind of like the silhouette they like to do, except digital. And the wing coloring, I believe, which was, hold on, I have the screenshots right here. I'll just look them up real quick. And okay, they don't have the exact colors, but the wings, you can see. I'm going to build this up a little bit. The wings are working on. It kind of looks like fletchling, except the head is a bit bigger, the beak is a bit longer, and it looks like it has something on the top of his head, kind of like a small crown. So this is technically the generic bird of the region. We don't know anything about it. We don't know exactly what it looks like aside from the general outline. We just have its wing shape, outline, beak, pretty much the dimensions, but not any of the color, typing, none of that. So, like I'm saying, everyone's assuming it's the generic bird for this region. So, of course, that's always good to look at. Then they showed the remat of the Pokemon Center, which, from the screenshots, you can see like little bitty boxes from the inside. They look amazing. I mean, it looks like you're looking at a picture of an actual facility. You know, like you walk in, there's a shiny tiled floor, windows off to the side. You know, if they're upping the graphics from Gen 6, that would be amazing. Making it look more three-dimensional, more... Although Gen 6 did it very well, they can do better now that that's their basis, which is what everyone's been wanting. We now have 3D. Make the 3D better to make it more, not interactable, but it seemed like you're jumping into it even more. So that's what I'm getting from that, updated graphics, which I'm not really big on graphics, although they do look nice, but Pokemon's always consistently gotten better through the regions, so they have to be doing better than Gen 6, pretty much. Everything good about that, and then better. That's what I'm getting from with the screenshot from the Pokemon Center. What is that? I can't really tell, but I just now noticed something. There's one where there's two domes underneath of it. So it looks as though like one of them is maybe just a basic model, and then the other one has something on top of the Pokeball dome that's like got like this yellow circle around it with letterings. I can't really tell what that is, but I'll get to the next screenshot probably has something to do with that. So let me get to that one real quick before I start just going off on a tangent. Cars. They're implementing cars into this. We have 3 that we know of at the moment. We have a gray, not a gray one, but like a lot. I don't know what color you would call that. Like, I'm just going to say beige. It looks beige. And there's people in the back, but I can't really get a good view of them from here. But that wasn't the one I was focused on. The one I was focused on was the one that looks like a Pokeball RV, which I'm assuming to be kind of like a to-go makeshift Pokemon Center, where instead of having to go back to a town to heal up your Pokemon, maybe you can call it in on your phone and it come to you and you can heal up, switch out your party members, all of that. That would be nice, just to have like a Nurse Joy that just circles around the region all the time, coming to you whenever you need her. So, an interactive Pokemon Center that travels with you, that would be nice. But then it was the yellow one with the attachment that got my attention. Now that I'm looking at it, it kind of reminds me of a fire truck. Although it's not big and red, it is a small truck with the sirens on top of it that's yellow, which fire trucks can be yellow as well. I've seen them. And it has an attachment in the back that has a Blastoise standing atop of it. So, I would think that that would be used for some sort of fire department detail. Now that I'm looking at it, it does seem like that. You have the fire truck with the Blastoise for the fire hose, and then a Pokeball RV that looks like an ambulance. So, well then wouldn't that make the truck the original truck for like regular rangers or policemen? Now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking is like an ambulance, a fire truck, and then a generic, I'm just going to say cruiser, because I can't think of another name for it. But, yeah, there's a cruiser with a truck bed and I think people in the back. It's either people or Pokemon, I can't tell. But, it looks as though we're going to have vehicles in the game. I don't know if we're going to be able to drive them ourselves. But there are vehicles in the game, which I'm assuming, since they put attention on, are going to have some part in the actual game, probably for characters alongside you or important people. So that's all that. But then another one that they showed was this chateau-looking place with a horsey fountain that I thought was adorable. I really did. I loved the horsey fountain. The building I could give a shit less about. I was looking at the fountain the entire time. I was just like, I want this fountain. I want an adorable horsey fountain. I've always loved horsies, so I would love to have one of those in my backyard for no fucking reason at all, other than to just sit there, look at, and have the birds drink out of whenever they're coming around. Hopefully the crows aren't back. They tend to freak me out when there's so many of them. Anyway, but what I also want to say... Oh! Well, I was thinking about this before I went on the whole profession for all the cars. I want there to be just a broken down car somewhere in the world that is a reference back to Mew. I just want it to happen. There's cars now. The only other time we had a car that was of any importance was the Easter egg back in Gen 1 that everybody thought Mew was a part of. So I want that to come back somewhere. That's just an old, rusted down, beat up clunker that everyone's just going to be like, is there a Mew here? Is there a Mew? Can I find Mew here? For all the people that didn't get the Mew distribution, no, you are fucked. Anyway, but going back to the actual game themselves, Sun and Moon. When I first heard those titles, my first thought was old Native American story. Because Sun and Moon, my first thought were deities. So the Sun and Moon legendaries, I would assume, would have something to do with not Native American per se, but like Incan, Mayan, all of those ancient native civilizations that worship sun and moon, the stars, the sky, the earth, the sea, the wind, the fire, had deities for all of them. I was thinking something along those lines, which would be rather interesting because although Pokemon does incorporate traditional mythology and religions and all of that into their gameplay, not so much religions, but mythology and stories and legends, although they use a lot of that, they don't really touch Native American that much. And they never really came overseas that much either. The only time they really did was for the Unova region of Gen 5. But seeing as how they're no longer having all their regions based on Japanese areas, with Unova being New York City and Kalos being France, I would actually like to see Sun and Moon be like a South American or the Mexico region, not just Mexico, but Mexico, Guatemala, Peru, Nicaragua, all of them. or like a I don't want to say South Africa because that wouldn't really fit too much, I would assume. But you know what I mean. Like, something along those lines. But then, during the Direct, they specifically said they added 2 new languages, making it 9 languages in total. Traditional and simplified Chinese. And that got me to thinking back on the whole ancient civilization for sun and moon deities. China has that as well. They're adding specific attention to China. China has those old civilizations as well. Not just in the South American and, I don't want to say Mexican, but the lower North American regions. But they pretty much have those in China as well. So, this new area, I'm assuming will be based off one of 3 locations. Either the lower North Americas, being, Mexico, Guatemala, and all of that. Somewhere in South America, maybe Brazil. Who knows? Or somewhere in China. And I want them to be heavy on the mythology. Just like they were in Gen 4. I want them to be heavy on the mythology. Because when you put so much emphasis and detail into the legendaries, especially the main legendaries, Gen 3 did it with the weather trio of Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. I pronounce it Rayquaza. I don't want to hear any bitching. Then in Sinnoh, the creation trio and Arceus. I pronounce it Arceus. It just sounds better to me. I know so many people bitch about it. If you have a problem with it, go watch the J-Wits video. You're not going to hear me complaining about, I didn't pronounce it the way everyone said to me. No, I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm going to pronounce it the way I goddamn please. So, tangent aside, when you put emphasis onto the legendaries, give them this backstory, give them all of this information, all of this detail, it makes them more desirable, makes them seem like legends, like they're supposed to be legendary. So, Sun and Moon, fucking Celestials, I want them to be heavily influenced by myths, legends, stories, all of that, because I want these legendaries to just pop. I want them to be amazing. I want them to look amazing. I want them to sound amazing. I want them to have a very interesting mythology. I want them to be incorporated into the region a lot more. There's so much I want them to do with them that just, all the possibilities. But speaking of Celestials, these are 2 celestial bodies, Sun and Moon. More space Pokemon? I would like more space Pokemon. Like, not exactly going into space, although we just did that with the Delta episode for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But I would like more space-oriented Pokemon so that it doesn't just seem like they're all confined here. We got Deoxys. He was badass. Rayquaza lives in the ozone. Jirachi. Even lesser Pokemon like Jigglypuff, Clefairy, and Clefable seem all the more interesting because they're said to be from space. So I would really like to have those incorporated. Now, as per what else I think, it could be the extension of Kalos. Because, like everyone has noticed from the Kalos map, is kind of like a peninsula. You have Kalos, then the water here, the water here, the water here. Then you have a mountainous region over here covered in thick fog. I would like, because everyone said that Kalos said to be incomplete, I would like this region to be on the opposite side of that mountain terrain. It just makes sense. You would have, first off, I want a whole new dex. I want brand new Pokemon. I don't want where they do every couple of gens where they have X amount of new Pokemon and then a big portion of it is just evolutions and upgrades to previous Pokemon. Although I do like when they do that, just like in Gen 4, I feel it is overdone. So I want a brand new roster of Pokemon with maybe a couple new versions of older ones. I would be fine with that, but not... Pretty much what I'm saying is I would like this new and this old rather than this new and this old. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Brand new Pokemon for the 20th anniversary. Just like with Gen 3, just like with Gen 5, just a whole brand new roster. Because for the 20th anniversary, I would expect nothing less. There's so much I really want to talk about, but I want to save it for when we have more information. So, in the meantime, I guess I'll just leave it off here. Thoughts, comments, opinions, theories. I want to hear everybody talking about this. So please let me know what your thoughts are. I know I normally never ask that, but this time I want to know. I really want to know because Gen 7, the hype is real. Everybody's going to be looking forward to it. So this is the Mad King Paradox S signing off. Happy 20th anniversary, Pokemon, and to all the Pokemon trainers out there in the world. Continue to be the very best, like no one ever was.